Pranam all elders and Namaste friends. With our basic research in festivals of spiritual as well as scientific Bharat, the culture and traditions of India in the form of festivals has a deeper significance to offer. On this note, I am happy to present you with our talk today as follows. My heartfelt celebration and honors to talk on Jalaram Jayanti, which is the birth and legacy of Sant Shri Jalaram Bappa, a symbol of humanity. It serves as a reminder of the enduring values of selfless service, compassion and devotion. Jalaram Bappa was born Vikram Samvat 1856 as per Hindu calendar, exactly 1 week after the Hindu festival of Diwali. He is a saint who is loved by millions of devotees across the world, as Jalaram Jayanti is celebrated with festivities at hundreds and thousands of Jalaram temples across India and abroad. In Veerpur, a huge fair and festival with millions of devotees in attendance to seek his blessed prasad. And just to know, this temple in Veerpur is one of a kind in the world, in a way that it has not been accepting any offerings or donation. Millions of people simply come there, have stomach-full food and have blessings, but there's no provision for giving back any materialistic things in Veerpur temple. You will find images of Jalaram Bappa always dressed in simple clothes, which is a symbol of purity. Usually portray him as wearing a white with a stick in his left hand and a tulsi mala in his right hand. He was very soft-spoken, humble and compassionate man who dedicated his life as a karma yogi to serving God and humanity. He is also known for many miracles that we call it as parchas that demonstrate his divine grace and power. To say he was selfless in service with devotion and with miraculous powers. His life emphasized the value of simplicity, truth and honesty. He believed in love for humanity with the unity of all religions and preached that selfless service is the path to God realization. Thus, Jalaram Bappa's teachings inspired people to lead a righteous and virtuous life dedicated to the service of others. And Jalaram Jayanti is a day to pay respect to this great saint and receive prasad, which is often khichdi with bundi and gathia. For those who may not know about his real life story, let me narrate in brief with some parchas. So, Jalaram Bappa was born in Veerpur, which is at Rajkot district of Gujarat, India in 1799. His father was an honest businessman, Mr. Pradhan Thakkar, running a grocery store, while his mother was Rajbai Thakkar, who was dedicated of serving sadhus and saints coming to Veerpur. The family worshipped Lord Ram and belonged to the Lohana community, who are the descendants of Love, the son of Sri Ram. Well, from his childhood, Jalaram Bappa was not at all interested in materialistic things and neither willing to live a householder's life. His core attention was mostly engaging in serving pilgrims, sadhus and saints, the sanskar that he got from his mother. Then, when he was around 5 years old, one day a sadhu who came to his house put a hand on Jalaram's head and gave him a deity of Lord Ram, saying that Hanuman would also follow soon here. With all the faith, Jalaram Bappa installed Lord Ram as his family deity, and with almighty blessings, after a few days a deity of Hanuman appeared out of the earth on its own. Then the deity of Ram's crescent, Sita, and his brother Lakshman also appeared. It is believed that due to such blessings, the container in the house of Jalaram where grains were stored became inexhaustible. Although Jalaram Bappa was not interested in worldly things, he had to initially support his father's business, who was worried that what will he do when he grows up. So, he started imposing responsibility on him to work in his shop. At the age of 16, they even got him married to Veerbai, the daughter of Thakkar Somaiya of Atkot, although Jalaram was not inclined to live a householder's life. His parents thought that with family responsibilities, he might get a bit serious with money. But this had a little impact on their decision, as whenever he saw a sadhu, he would take him to his house for meals. So, as Jalaram continuously indulged in offering the meals to the sadhus without taking any money in return, his father had to separate him from the house and shop. Now he had started working in his uncle Walji Bhai's shop, and so the new couple Jalaram and Veerbai started staying in their uncle's house. One day, uncle had to go to town for some business, and so he asked Jalaram to take care of his grocery store by himself. Coincidentally, many sadhu came to his uncle's shop on that day, and Jalaram gave them all yards of clothes along with sufficient quantity of pulses, rice and flour. He also took the vessels filled with the ghee and started distributing to all sadhus without any money in return, obviously. Looking at this loss-making business, his neighbor merchant told his uncle, the shop owner, as a complaint. Hearing this, his worried uncle thought that he'd go bankrupt, so he came back running at the shop and asked Jalaram, "Where is the bundle?" Jalaram replied, "It is cow dung." So skeptical, uncle asked him to show it. So when the bundle was untied, it had nothing but cow dung. In disbelief, the uncle asked him to show the vessel that was supposed to have ghee or oil. Jalaram said there's only water, and when he turned the vessel, water flowed out of it. Obviously, everybody was stunned, particularly that neighborhood merchant who initially complained about things getting stolen and items given to hundreds of sadhus. Later, when the uncle cross-checked his stock of goods, everything was in place and nothing was lost. Jalaram knew that these miracles were the acts of God, as he was convinced that to serve sadhu is to serve to God. Jalaram would many a time go to Hindu pilgrim places, and nearby Futechval was one of his loved visiting because of Bhoja Bhagat Na Chakba, a composition of hundreds of devotional songs. Sant Bhujal was a godman, social reformer and a poet. When Jalaram was 18 years old, he accepted Bhoja Bhagat as his guru, and as a custom was given the Guru Mantra and Japmala in the name of Sri Ram. Since then, Jalaram Bappa and Ram Mala, which he practiced with utmost faith and spirituality. Then, with the blessings of his guru, he also started Sadavrat, that is a feeding center started at Veerpur, where all the sadhus and saints as well as the needy could have food anytime during 24 hours. Luckily, his life partner Veerbai Ma proved to be an asset to him in his works of feeding sadhus and needy, and both were inclined to completely withdraw from materialistic life and become an ascetic. Day by day, the number of sadhus and pilgrims visiting their house increased. So, Veerbai sacrificed and had given her gold chain and other ornament to Jalaram for sale. Later, other devotees in the village folks also joined them in Sadavrat works of human welfare. Whoever came to Veerpur, whether Hindu, Muslim or Christian, irrespective of the caste, creed, religion, were fed. He was then called as Jala Bhagat. This tradition of feeding people continues over 200 years till date in Veerpur without any holidays. How he got this name Jalaram Bappa is an interesting story. By the time Jalaram was 21 years old, his fame spread as Jala Bhagat, and villagers accepted him as a noble man of God. It so happened that once a tailor named Harji was suffering from severe pain in his stomach and no doctor medicine was curing him. So, someone suggested that if you cannot go to Jala Bhagat, at least utter his name. Harji wholeheartedly took his name, and that sinked into his mind and body, and by simply uttering his name within a week, he was completely recovered. Harji fell at his feet and addressed him as Bappa. From this event, he was called Jalaram Bappa. Soon, his fame spread and people came to him to get rid of diseases and problems. In another incident, when Jalaram was just 22 years old, there lived a rich Muslim named Jamal in Veerpur. Once, His 10-year-old son was serious and so ill that in spite of the best treatment, he could not recover and all the hopes were given up. Haji told Jamal of the parcha, that is his experience with Jalaram. Jamal believed and prayed from his house that if his son is cured, he will give 40 modans of grain to Jalaram Bappa for Sadavrat. Soon miracle happened and his son was recovered. Jamal then visited the house of Jalaram Bappa with cartload of grains and called him Jalla Tuto Allah. There are many parchas we can read, but for time limitation, let me highlight one amazing parchas that had brought Jalaram Bappa when he was 30 years old to test. It was around 1829 AD. Once an old sadhu came to his ashram muttering Narayan, Narayan. So Jalaram offered meals, but he said no. Then he asked what he will take. The mysterious sadhu replied that his body is old and worn out and wants somebody to look after him. And if Jalaram can give away his wife, that's it what he will take. This situation was really unexpected and Jalaram was a bit hesitant. But he took Ram Naam and went to Virbai in another room and told his demand of the sadhu. As a protocol, they had never disappointed any sadhu and so Virbai Ma agreed to go with the sadhu. Hearing this decision, Jalaram was relieved and they pack off the bag for Virbai for prolonged seva of old Sadhuji and leave the home with this hard decision. The two, Virbai Ma and Sadhuji, walked about 2-3 miles and came across a river where the Sadhu said, Ma, look after my jholi and a bad and danda, that is a thin stick. He said that he will just return after attending a nature call and left. As he went behind the bushes, he suddenly disappeared while Virbai Ma waited for him till sunset. She was worried about Sadhu but couldn't find him anywhere and started weeping. But God blessed, there was an Akashvani, that is celestial voice, that the villagers and cowherd boys heard, saying that Jalaram is his favorite devotee and he is blessed. Now all realized that the Sadhu was no one but the God himself, who had came to put the Jala Bhagat to test his devotion. Then Virbai Ma returned to her home and Jalaram Bappa had no limit of joy and served sweets to all around along with his routine food of prasad. The same jholi and danda were physically kept in the temple at Veerpur. Even today are worshipped twice daily. Papa used to visit host house and sing God bhajans. They would go on singing the vibrating songs tirelessly and whole night would pass in deep divine joy. In another incident, there was a young boy named Govind around 20 years old, a son of Kalo Rayani. Shockingly, he died after an acute pain in stomach and everyone were in grief. Somebody told Jalaram Bappa about this sad incident. So, Jalaram Bappa immediately left his house to reach at Kalo Rayani's house. The people had prepared to bury and take him to Samshan for burning the dead body. But looking at the grief of everybody, Bappa requested to uncover his face and see him and ask for some water. On Bappa's request, Govind's face was uncovered. Jalaram Bappa prayed for a while and sprinkled some water on dead Govind's face, saying, "Arey Govind, why are you sleeping like this? Look at me." To everyone's surprise, Govind opened his eyes and looked at Jalaram Bappa. People swallowed turned into divine joy. Everyone thanked Bappa for bringing Govind back to life. But Bappa did not take any credit and said everything happens due to God will. Such divine incidents obviously had sanitified Veerpur, and many Britishers were also visiting Bappa's ashram at Veerpur. Once a European also had came there and decided to take the photograph of Jalaram first as an inauguration of his studio. At the inauguration of this studio, he asked Bappa for his photograph in camera. But Bappa said, why this photographer? Rather he should take the photograph of cows and birds. To this the European was saddened and literally prayed Jalaram to fulfill his desire. Bapa did not like to make anyone unhappy, so he accepted the offer to take his photograph. But when he was being photographed, Bapa's one eye winked. This is the only photograph of Bapa for us to see in his appearance, his physical body post 2 centuries. Otherwise, even today there are many parchas that still happens in his name. There are many stories about the greatness of Jalaram Bapa, and remembering him and his parchas can fill a heart with devotion and gratitude. Back to February 23, 1881, when Bapa was 81 years of age, he was playing righteously when he left his body for heavenly abode. But even though he is not in his bodily form, many devotees experience Jalaram Bapa will make unusual miracles happen. He lived a life of simplicity and sacrifice, and is known for his ability to miraculously provide food. The miraculous part is that his grain stores that are always unlimitable passed over 200 years. Well, for some more information, Jalaram Bapa and Veerbai had a daughter named Jamna Ben. Her grandson Harim Bhai continued the legacy of Jalaram Bapa's Sadavrat to feed one and all at Veerpur. And his direct descendant Giridhar Bapa and his son Jai Sukhram Bapa and Raghuram Bapa, now the head of Gadi of Riverhead Veerpur, the shrine of Jalaram Bapa. This day of Jalaram Jayanti is celebrated across India and beyond, where several temples are dedicated to Jalaram Bapa, which serves the people in various services, particularly free food without any kind of donations. On this heartfelt note, I wish to say to you all that may the teaching of Jalaram Bapa reflect goodness and compassion in you and bring into your life the glow of happiness and prosperity. With this, let me summarize Jalaram Bapa's life and teachings in a nutshell in the form of short animation that I did in 2021 in my YouTube channel So and So Entertainment. Kindly continue watching and taking his divine name.
राम नाम में लीन है देखत सब में राम, ताके बतवंधन करूं जय जय श्री जलाराम।
ચાલો રે જઈએ વીરપુરમાં જલારામના ત્યાં ધામ છે, જલારામના ત્યાં ધામ છે। સંત સવાયા જગમાં જોયા સૌને જય જલારામ છે।
સૌને જય જલારામ છે ભાઈ, સૌને જય જલારામ છે।
from my today's presentation. So, if you like it, don't forget to press the bell icon below with the subscribe button to stay tuned on my yet another talk on the great festival of India, which I call it as Pastival, based on my book Pastival Cultural Futechval. So, thanks for watching and being connected. Take care and Om Shanti.